What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today, unfortunately, I'm going to bring you a little bit shorter of a live because a combination of two things. One, I got back from Texas at like 2 in the morning last night, and I'm also being a horrible person today, so sleep deprivation plus me being an awful person means that this is going to be a little bit shorter of a live, and so I apologize for that, but yeah, this deck is going to be centered around Durant Mill. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you guys like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton and lets us do more cool stuff for you guys. And as for the question of the day, it's a Sunday upload, so you guys already know what the question is. Anything cool happened to you guys this past week, or do you have anything cool happening this upcoming week? I mean, I just got back from Texas where I was hanging out with some friends that I had not seen in a very long time. So that was a lot of fun. We just hung out a bunch, did a lot of cool stuff. And so it was a very cool week and I'm glad that I was able to do that before I went and started med school and got drowned in books and everything and homework and whatnot. So it was a nice, relaxing week that honestly did not have a lot of sleep because we were playing video games up until like 5 in the morning and then waking up at 9 to play more video games. But that's beside the point. Yeah, let me know in the comment section down below. What have you guys got going on this upcoming week, or did anything cool happen to you this past week? But anyway, on to the deck. Like I said, I'm being an absolutely horrible person, and this is a Durant Mill deck. I mean, it's very straightforward. You have 4 Durant with the Devour attack. For each Durant in play, discard the top card of your opponent's deck. Now, I will be honest, this list I made by myself. I'm not very good at building disruption decks, so yeah, this is probably not the optimal list, but I kind of was just like, you know what, screw it. I don't really like know disruption that well, so it's probably going to be entertaining to see how badly this falls on its face anyway. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my attempt at disruption and milling, so all of that stuff. But yeah, basically the whole deck designed around Durant. Just get Durants in play, keep them in play, devour until your opponent has absolutely no cards in the deck. So it's just very straightforward, and then the rest of the cards are dedicated towards keeping Durant in play, disrupting your opponent, and denying them prizes. Now, the only other Pokemon we are running in this deck is a copy of Rotom with the Mischievous Trick. Once during your turn, you may switch one of your face-down prize cards with the top card of your deck. I mean, that's the whole reason you use it, and then I mean, you can technically use Plasma Arrow because we run Prism Energy in this deck, but you really don't want to run it, so there's that. But I mean, we are running Prism Energy. If we didn't want to use that attack, we'd run Full Metal, but this is just a way of being like, you know what, we have an option. Now, one thing you might notice is that this deck does not take prizes. So if you have Durant in your prize cards, like if you have a couple Durant in your prize cards, you are completely screwed because you have absolutely no access to them because you won't be taking prizes. This is where Rotom comes in. With Mischievous Trick, you're able to switch one of your prize cards with the top of your deck, and that way you can be like, okay, maybe I can get a Durant this way. Now you might be thinking, okay, that's the way around it, but at the same time it's like, okay, I have a 1 in 6 shot of getting a Durant, and then that's one less card that I discard each turn, and it just kind of seems like a roundabout way of doing it and not very efficient. And you're right, but unfortunately there's no other way to do it. However, there is one card that'll help us out a ton, and that is the Alph Lithograph, the one that allows you to look at all of your face-down prize cards. Now, you might be thinking, well, why not just use Town Map so you can see what all your prize cards are? And if you look at the wording for Rotom, once during your turn, you may switch one of your face-down prize cards with the top card of your deck. It specifies face down, so if you flip them face up, all of a sudden Mischievous Trick does not work. That's why we're using Alph Lithograph instead of what am I even trying to say? Instead of Town Map. There we go. Sorry, I was completely blanking for a second, because Alph Lithograph lets you look at your prizes but keep them face down. That way you can be like, okay, well, the middle prize on the left side is the Durant that I'm missing. So then instead of just being like, okay, well, maybe this one, you can just be like, okay, I'm just going to grab that Durant, put it right back into my deck, and then also you can use it to find like Lost Remover, Crushing Hammer, really just whatever cards are in your prizes that you want to have. So very cool combination right there. And then, of course, the 4 Durant. Now, as for the rest of the items, 4-2, of Crushing Hammer and Lost Remover. Now I'm slightly triggered by the fact that I'm running a deck that has 4 copies of Crushing Hammer, but really this whole deck is just about denying your opponent, whether that's energy denial with Crushing Hammer and Lost Remover, prize denial with Life Dew, and then, well, also just the ability of knocking out the Durants, put them in the discard pile with like Revive, Rescue Scarf, and Super Rod. Just that whole thing, just really it's just denying your opponent literally everything until you're allowed to, well, until you're able to mill them out of your deck. As for the rest of the cards, now I'm running 8 search cards, 4 Dual Ball and 4 Level Ball. Just search out Durant, not have to discard any cards to do so. I mean, if I could run 8 Level Ball, I would. But, I mean, I decided to go with Dual Ball, and this might be, I don't know, I can't decide if this is a good number of search cards, because, again, this is the first time I've ever run Durant Mill. I'm not used to running that type of mill in Legacy, so it's probably not the optimal search numbers, but this actually worked for me in my testing, where I was always able to search a Durant when I needed to and have enough searching options early to where I was able to get 3 or 4 Durant out turn 1. So that worked for me. 4 Junk Arm to be able to reuse just any item, whether that be a Crushing Hammer, Lost Remover, Revive. Life Dew in particular is something you can use. So yeah, definitely Junk Arm for Life Dew quite a bit to deny your opponent prizes. Just so many options are opened up with Junk Arm. 2 Reversal just to kind of like basically catcher in something that your opponent has on the bench that they're not going to be attacking with and has a hefty retreat cost, kind of stall your opponent, keep them from being able to attack for a turn or 2 while they try to retreat it, just buy you more time to devour. 2 Random Receivers to turn a Junk Arm into a supporter if we need it. Absolute max number of revives, because once a Durant gets knocked out, if you have a revive, well, there's a Durant right back on your bench. 1 Super Rod to put back Durant into the deck as well as energy. This is just kind of a more mass recursion than anything, just being able to Super Rod all of those back into the deck. Well, not all of them. Well, I guess theoretically, if you're down to 1 Durant and you have 3 in the discard pile, you can max out Super Rod with that. So that's something that you can look out for. 1 Tool Scrapper just to shut down our opponent's abilities, float stones, like combination of Pokemon Reversal plus Tool Scrapper can strand an opponent's Pokemon for a turn or 2, which is all you need to devour the rest of their deck. As for the supporters, 3-4 of Oak and N. I mean, this is kind of a heavy line of supporters, but that's just because you want to keep drawing cards in this deck and not kind of be left with a dead hand. But 3-4 for the shuffle draw, not have to discard a ton of cards, because otherwise you'll deck out before your opponent, and that's obviously not ideal. So mostly shuffle draw, but again, Juniper for a fresh 7 cards is always nice. 1 Skyla to search for that Life Dew or a Lost Remover or something like that. And then Twins because, again, this deck doesn't take prizes, so having Twins, so you're going to be down in prizes in 99% of your games. There's always going to be that one game where you're both at 6 prizes because you just deny your opponent to where they're not able to knock out a single Durant. But 99% of the time you're going to be behind, so Twins is an automatic whatever 2 cards you want. 1 Life Dew as the ace spec of choice just to deny our opponent prize cards. 3 Rescue Scarves to attach to Durant so that once they get knocked out, instead of the discard pile, just right back to your hand. Just really recursion of Durants is the name of the game. And then as for the energy, running 10 energy so that we can have them when we need them. 1/6 of the deck is energy. I know that might seem like a little much, especially for just 1 energy attacks over and over and over, but I've run into situations where I haven't drawn energy when I want it, so running 10 energy is my way of kind of being like, okay, this way I can potentially just draw out of it and go from there. Prism is run in this deck over another 3 metal energy, just because you can potentially Plasma Arrow. Like, okay, I will be honest, I've never seen somebody attack with Rotom. But just having that ability to attack with Rotom in a random situation where you need to do 20 damage somewhere, can't think of one off the top of my head, but really it just gives you options. If you just decide, you know what, I don't ever want to attack with Rotom, I don't want to have this card be able to be discarded by Lost Remover, then you can get rid of Prism and just throw in 3 more metal energy. But the Prism is there just in case Rotom needs to attack in some sort of like dire straits or something like that. I have no idea. It's just there to give you that option. And then 4 of the metal, of the special metal, in order to reduce damage done to Durant, because I mean, if you have special metal on there, you're essentially an 80 HP Pokemon, which I guess is something. I don't know, but still, special metal allows you to take hits a little bit better, maybe occasionally avoid a knockout so you have another turn to devour. But either way, I am done talking about how horrible of a person I'm going to be. Let's go ahead and watch me be a horrible person. Alrighty, we have found one against Niran Jan with, well, kind of looks like a Ray Eels deck, so this could be interesting to say the least. That's unfortunate. So we are going to win the coin flip, which, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Try to put him back a little bit. I mean, I know that this deck normally likes to attack first, but I mean, then again, going for a single devour where you discard one card, where you could have gotten 4 cards off on your first attack is, I mean, it's just 4 cards is so much better. So I am going to take this opportunity to go first. Let's random receiver, get a twins. Because I mean, like, I just wanted to have the random receiver in the discard pile, that way I can junk around for it later. Rescue Scarf and Shield or Metal Energy up the Durant, and then play a. Do I want to play the Rotom down? Honestly, I might as well at this point, just cause. And yeah. So really, everything is. Yeah, I mean, I wish I would have gotten a little bit better of a hand. But, I mean, I have Crushing Hammer, I have a Durant with the Rescue Scarf. I mean, I'm in a just fine position right now. As long as my opponent doesn't get a ton of stuff, and he doesn't even play the Thunder Wave Dynamo to where he could potentially paralyze me and buy himself a turn. He plays the Spark Dynamo, which does 10 and 10, which, I mean, it's kind of a crapshoot as to which one you prefer. I think the general consensus is the Thunder Wave, just because if you're attacking with Dynamo, you need to buy turns anyway. But at the same time, like, being able to snipe for 10 and 10 is useful, is very useful at times, especially when Rayquaza can miss out on some KOs just barely in certain situations. So, I mean, it's still a good Dynamo. Definitely see the value of that. My opponent plays down the Keldeo and then ends me. Thank you. My hand was very much, I literally just Juniper away my hand. Really didn't have anything that I wanted there. And I get a Level Ball and a Revive. So, I mean, at the very least, I'll be able to get another Durant going. So, I'll be able to devour 2 off my opponent's deck. I would like to get a Junk Arm off of my top deck, or another way of getting another Durant. But I get a Skyla too, so what I am going to do is go ahead and just Level Ball for a Durant, and then probably 2 are prized. Are you kidding me? 2 Durant are prized. Wow. But I mean, my opponent just forfeits anyway, but 2 of my 4 Durant were prized. Oh my gosh, that was ridiculous. So, yeah, I mean, half of my Durant were prized. I would have been in a horrible situation, especially because my Alpha Lithograph appeared to be prized as well. But either way, my opponent did just concede. So, yeah, we take those, and let's go ahead and try to find another one. Alrighty, we have found another one against John EK24 with, honestly, I have no idea what type of deck they're running. We do win the coin flip again, and once again, I do want to go first. Just give myself the most opportunities to get 4 Durant Devours more often than not. Gonna have to mulligan, unfortunately, but I mean, hey, that happens. Let's go ahead and, yeah, just shuffle back in, draw some cards, hopefully get some Durants, and, well, that's something. Really hoping I don't get a Juniper, because I do not want to get rid of 3 of the Crushing Hammer, because those will be very, very nice to have. Please have an N. Well, that works. Well, I was going to say N or Oak, but N works too, especially because my opponent got the mulligan card, so we're just going to make him put that right back in his deck. And this actually ends up working out very nicely, because I'll be able to get another Durant, put Rescue Scarf on the active. I have an energy for my bench Durant next turn too, and I have a couple Crushing Hammers, so yeah, I'm just getting triggered looking at the Crushing Hammer in my hand. Sorry, guys. We do see the Pokemon Catcher, which, honestly, not too big of a deal. Okay, 1 Durant into another Durant. But, yeah, I mean, I'm fine. My opponent will Skyla for something. Doesn't have a supporter for the turn. Just Skyla's for Juniper, knows that he's got time because this is obviously a Durant deck, and plays a Psychic onto Keldeo. Well, this is actually really good because I top deck a Level Ball, so I'll be able to get yet another Durant out, and there's another Durant in my deck too. So I don't have to worry about Rotom at all. So let's see, can I get rid of the Psychic Energy? I do. And let's go ahead and Oak, see if we can get a 4th Durant. Well, which we do with the Dual Ball. So, yeah, we hit 2 heads, so I'm going to be able to get 2 more Durant. Just kidding, there's only 4. So, wow, turn 2, I already have 4 Durant out. That is phenomenal. And then I'm just going to Devour, get rid of the top 4 cards of my opponent's deck, and yeah, so now my opponent is in a position where he really can't do a whole lot of... Really, he can't do a whole lot to me. He is... Oh, each Pokemon has no resistance. Not a big deal. And then just Juniper's away his hand. That's fine. That's just getting him that much closer to decking out for me. Lost Remover. That's a little bit annoying, actually. Because now I have to try to draw into an energy or something like that in order to be able to devour. Ah! That's weird. That was weird. But yeah, random receivers, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just he's just taking cards out of his deck, and I can always just grab another energy. So let's go ahead and Junk Arm, get rid of the Juniper and the Rotom to grab probably just a Crushing Hammer to be able to put that back in my deck. Do I want a Super Rod? Not really. I want to save that for when I need Durant, and then all I need is an energy, which I unfortunately do not get. So let's just Rescue Scarf up the Durant and end my turn right there. So that Lost Remover is actually coming up big for my opponent because I did completely miss a turn of being able to Devour. And that would have been a 4-card Devour, which would have been huge. But I can always... see, Smoochum, Mewtwo, and Chandelure. That's weird. Cool, but kind of weird. Chandelure is actually going to be a big problem because he can always just... yeah, he can just start curse dropping around my rescue scars, which is not good. He's going to Junk Arm, get rid of the DCE. Probably grab the switch so that he can start curse dropping. Yep, we do see the switch come out. So this is kind of... this is starting to get bad because I missed that energy, and I really need to start getting those energy, and he's... well, I mean, I guess he's still taking prizes anyway. Whatever. At least Curse Drop is only doing 4 instead of like 5 or anything like that. So that's pretty nice right there. Let's go ahead and Crushing Hammer and whiff. Crushing Hammer again. And I get it. And you know what? Let's Skyla, because I don't want to... do I want to just end my opponent into a new hand? No, I'm going to go ahead and Skyla. Grab... what can I grab? Grab the Life Dew. So there's 5 energy in my deck. Let's grab the Twins. Yeah, let's grab a Twins. That way I can just kind of start cycling those once my opponent inevitably starts taking prizes off of me. So now that I have the Twins, if my opponent, well, when my opponent takes the knockout on this Durant, that's fine. And he gets the Chorus. I have no idea if he top decked that or not. That'd be very sad for me if he did top deck it. But he's, I mean, every time he draws a bunch of cards, he's just getting that much closer to decking out. So he will start curse dropping again. He sees that I have the Twins. So this is a very good play by my opponent. I think... oh, that's what he's trying to do. I think my opponent just might be trying to set it up to clear the entire board in one fell swoop. Because, I mean, if he gets 6 damage counters on each of my... and they still don't... oh my gosh. I still don't draw into an energy. That is so annoying. Let's... Reversal, whiff it, get rid of the Lost Remover and the Dual Ball because I really don't need it, and then let's... honestly, let's just Random Receiver. See what I can get off that. And then I'm just going to end my turn right there. Man, that's annoying. So my opponent might be able to... man, 2 turns without being able to Devour, so that's... that is insanely annoying, actually. Man, That's very frustrating. And yeah, he will be able to. I mean, Smooch him really just not gonna do much. Still no energy, so that's... Well, there's the energy. I finally get those. I mean, I see them with the Random Receiver, so I know they're still in my deck. So let's see, can I finally get an energy? Thank you. Thank you, Lord. I finally got an energy. Holy crap. So let's go ahead and Crushing Hammer, just try to get rid of another energy. I do not. So I'm getting... This match is actually kind of getting very unlucky for me right now. Getting him down to 17, so just 4 more Devours. If I can survive, I have a chance. Oh, great. We see the Tool Scrapper gets rid of both of my Rescue Scarves. So he's going to be able to just start knocking out Durant at this point. And I think his play of trying to take it all out in one fell swoop will fall just a little bit short, because I will be able to... I'll be able to devour enough. And he keeps putting his deck lower and lower. Man, my opponent's just continually using resources. I honestly think at this point, you just need to... I mean, yeah, he keeps using resources. I think you just need to keep playing it patient. Because if my opponent had simply played it completely patiently, he would have eventually been able to curse drop enough to where he could clear my board all at once. But because he kept playing cards... I mean, he's going to be able to take a knockout on my Durant. I mean, he's going to be able to take a knockout on a Durant. But, I mean, had he just kept playing slowly, literally just Chandelure could 1v1 all of my Durants because, again, take everything out in one swoop. So, okay, he does get rid of the energy. I do top deck that, luckily. Let's go ahead and... I want to grab Revive or Super Rod. Because, I mean, I have the Level Ball in my hand. I think for this turn, I'm just going to go ahead and Revive. Throw that back in there. Wait to Super Rod until there are more Durants. And then let's just Level Ball, thin that out a little bit. Let's Devour. Go ahead and just get rid of 4 more cards. Yeah, all I need is 2 more Devours, and I think I'll end up winning this one. My opponent will Skyla again, just taking more cards out of the deck. My opponent just keeps taking cards out to where I don't even necessarily need like a 4 Mon Devour. I mean, he does grab the Super Rod, which is going to buy him a little bit of time. But at this point, like, yeah, I mean, my opponent would have beaten me with Chandelure alone if he had simply waited to, my opponent would have beaten me with just Chandelure alone had he simply just played it patiently, let me devour each turn, but then knock out all 4 Durant at once with Cursed Drop. So I top deck another Revive, which is pretty nice. Let's go ahead and play that other Durant down, and then just Oak, hopefully draw into another energy, which I don't. Again. Man. This is really annoying. So let's Random Receiver and end my turn. So yeah, the story of this game is I'm just not drawing into any energy at all. I mean, I know they're in the deck. I know they're there. I'm just not getting them. My opponent is going to go ahead and Curse Drop right here. Take another knockout on another Durant. So, I mean, I think probably just trying to get... Yeah, honestly, at this point, he's probably just trying to get his prizes as quickly as possible. So it's a matter of, if I can get energy, I think I will end up winning this game, just because I will be able to outpace Curse Drop at this point with Devour. I have another Revive, so let's go ahead and play that down, get another Durant back onto the bench. And yeah, I mean, I think that's just plain and simple. Let's go ahead and Devour, get rid of 4 more cards. If my opponent doesn't have an N or something like that, I think I should have the win. Yeah, if my opponent doesn't have a way to put stuff back into his deck, he's not going to be able to win. Because, yeah, he does knock out my Durant, but I do have Super Rod that I can go ahead... Actually, I don't even need to play Super Rod. I can simply just Junk Arm for a VS Seeker. Well, there's a Life Dew, so that's something. But I think at this point I want to conserve my junk arms, especially I especially want a Super Rod because it allows me to get the metal energy back into this deck as well. Let's just grab that fourth Durant because again, if I draw into a single energy, I do win this game. Let's just play the Durant down, play the Life Dew onto the damage Durant because, I mean, we all know my luck has been horrible with drawing energy this game. Yeah, I mean, I could have grabbed the Rotom and put it on the bench, but I really don't see the need to. Actually, probably should have because I barely gotten energy off that. And then let's just Devour, get rid of the rest of my opponent's deck, and we do win the game by deck out. One of the most scumbag ways to win a game, and yeah, so I'm actually probably going to call it there. It's going to be a little bit shorter of a live, but I mean, in Legacy, the Legacy videos overall have to be a little bit shorter because the ideas I'm trying are a little bit obscure, and Legacy is very much a format where it doesn't change. The same decks are always just going to be the best, and so getting good matches with very random and obscure decks is pretty difficult overall. So when you can get a good one, it's usually a little bit of a while before you're able to get another one where you don't just get absolutely smashed with your small deck or with your weird deck against like Celebi Genesect. So I'm gonna call it there. Hope you guys enjoyed. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching Durant mill as much as you could. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.